I'm going to try not to cry in here, okay? But I'm inner Eartha. I'm the inner child. And that's why I cry equally, okay? So even though all my brothers and sisters that represent the native spirits, which would be all the native tribes, I cry equally for everyone, for all spirits. Because every spirit is equally entitled to experience being loved by the first spirit. No matter who you are, no matter where you come from, no matter where we find life. That's why I try and spread my time across the entire spectrum equally with everyone in my window. So when some of the identities that I share things with that have questions, I try and refer them to the videos. That's why they're there. You know, how future memories operate, right? And so that's why when I experience, I have certain people in my windows like Longhouse Milo Stewart, right? Karen Ann McDonald, Patty Broussard, okay? I love them all equally. Down to the last spirit, the last soul, the last fragment, to pull the last fragment in, to experience being whole, to experience being one with the first one, which is the first spirit, which is the first star. Because that's what I experience in me, that I share with all of you equally. That's the eternal gift of being androgynous, is always being at zero, which is zero mass. That's why it took so long for me to be able to heal that scab from my 3-year-old son. That was a deep wound, as it is to all of us. And that was the one that was the most difficult to heal, naturally, even though it's not natural to experience that. So that meant that I had to forgive myself, which is to forgive other selves, which are other spirits in other cells, by virtue of what we experience, from which we heal ourselves from the inside, the inner Eartha, which is the inner child, which is the innocence of awareness, which is the purest of light, which is the purest of love, which is eternal. So we know that. So I use different words to describe what it's like. I call it kicking the motor in gear, the tetrahedron, burning the gas, baby, right? And spinning the vortex in the right direction, which is the first spiral, which are the first codes, which is the first musical tones, right? Because at the end of the day, we're playing music, just like plants play music. When you look at creation in your mirror, we're experiencing what it is that we are in that mirror, the music that we play, in the movement of pictures, the images, the power of our imagination to manifest something into creation that is beautiful to experience, because the music that we experience on the inside is just as beautiful on the outside, what we experience in our mirror, which is what love is, that created it, which is the love of all creation. So when you realize that that motor, which is that creative imagination, is going to go on forever, because the music that creation is playing, which is the first musician, which is the first creator, which is the first spirit, is on fire, which is our mirror. I call it running a hot mirror. Right? Just like this, for the last several days, actually for about a week, I've been nauseous. My right foot is on fire again this morning. It was on fire. So you know the importance of your right foot, right? Because of the work, of that we're doing on the inside, the inner work, right? The inner you, the inner cell, the inner breath, the breath of silence, silent running. Just breathe. Breathe in silence. What it feels like to experience the eternal peace of the first I, the first camera recorder, the first librarian, the first creator, the first spirit. It was the first spin, which is the first curve space vectors, the first cursor line, the first cursor line of authority, the command authority, the elementals, the spirits and the elements, right? Earth and wind, water, fire, four-way compass, four-way gyrodome, center point of the cross, right? Four quadrants, four sections, right? Between two hemispheres, joined as one, experiencing perfect uniformity. The continuity of the waves are equal unto every other wave. So that means we know how to run a RADIO, neurogyro-ion dome, a cone. Cone head. Yeah, there's a lot of stories are all interrelated to this, right? Remember the dunce cap? Put a cone on the top of that child's head, make an example out of that child. Didn't I relate that story about the book? You know, that when a teacher says, do not go over to that library, even though you're on fire to learn and you're not going to cause any harm to anybody, just by wanting to learn, being on fire to learn, do not touch those books over there, because I'm the teacher. I'm the authority in this classroom, in this box. Do not do that. And then I forgot. Now I'm put in front of all the children and completely humiliated for having broken a rule, a machine rule. I did not obey the AI. I chose to take it upon my own free will to learn. So that means I have the free will right to learn, because I'm not harming anybody, because I am what love is. But you're going to be punished and further traumatized as a result of the free choice that you made, because you're on fire to learn. Even though you're not doing no harm. You disobeyed the rule-based function of how terminals, biofield computers communicate with other biofield computers. Right? Don't touch that. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do this. Don't do this. How many rules are on the books now that were ever passed through the Federal Register ever since they first set up what they call a republic? The Washington Monument, the obelisk. Take an aerial view of the Washington. It's all there in black and white, huh? I know, that's why we're here. To end the asylum, the insanity. But it's not insane. You know, unse, one. The asylum running the planet, the psycho, the mental pathway. Something that does not have any feelings, no feelings, zero feelings, no feelings. It's all data-driven. All data-driven.